Hey guys, welcome back to NHL Fantasy Tips, and we are here for another exciting episode. Alex Pietrangelo has just signed with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That is very, very exciting. In a corresponding move, the Las Vegas Golden Knights have shipped off Nate Schmidt to the Vancouver Canucks to free up a little bit of cap, and in exchange they got a third-round pick. Now in this episode we're going to analyze everything that the Pietrangelo trade means for Vegas, and we're going to dive a little bit into Nate Schmidt and his fantasy outlook in Vancouver. All right, first things first, let's look at Alex Pietrangelo. This guy, I think, is going to have a very similar season to last year because Vegas paid a hefty price for him, which means they're going to pop him on their top power play, and he's going to get a whole lot of power play points. Last year, Pietrangelo had 42% of his points on the power play. 22 of his 52 points were on the power play. I expect something similar. He's going to have a huge role on that power play. The power play would probably look like Mark Stone, William Karlsson, Max Pacioretty, Jonathan Marchessault, and then the power play quarterback will be him. He will have a very huge role there in Vegas. Now, last year he had 52 points in 70 games. His point per game average was .74. So had he played a full 82 games, had the season been the full 82 games, he would have probably hit 61 points, which is insane for a defenseman and would have been his career high. Now I think he's going to have something similar to that because they have so much firepower in Vegas. I wouldn't expect anything differently. Now, in fantasy, he'll also get you a lot of points for shots on goal. Last year, he was 16th in the league in shots on goal. He was top 75 in the league in block shots, so he'll do pretty good for you there too. However, if you're looking for hits, he's not the guy that'll get you hits. He only had 47 hits last year, which is only 403rd in the league. So that's definitely not. He's definitely not the guy you want if you're trying to go for some more hits. That's about the only downside to his game is he doesn't hit a lot. All right, so Pietrangelo's addition to the Vegas Golden Knights has some repercussions to its current lineup. Shea Theodore was previously Vegas's power play quarterback, but I can't imagine he is anymore. There's a small chance that they would keep him on the top power play, but for the price they just paid for Pietrangelo, I highly doubt it. He'll probably be moved down to the second unit with Tuck, Glass, Riley Smith, and Alec Martinez. Shea Theodore relied very heavily on the power play for a good percentage of his points. Last year, over 1/3 of his points were on the power play. 16 of his 46 points were scored on the power play. And because he's being moved down to the second power play now, his value might be going down a little bit. The good thing, the saving grace there is Vegas does tend to play both their power plays quite a bit. So although his power play points will definitely be going down a little bit, overall his points shouldn't decrease that dramatically, although his overall ice time might also decrease quite a bit just because Pietrangelo is going to be commanding so much ice time. Now, do I recommend drafting Shea Theodore? Probably not, because he'll probably be going a lot higher than he's worth because he had a really good season last year. But because Pietrangelo joined the team, his value just won't be as good. However, one guy I do recommend drafting as a potential value pick in a late round is Alec Martinez. This guy is also going to be on the second power play in all likelihood. And after he joined Vegas last year, he got 8 points in 10 games and an additional 8 points in 20 games in the playoffs. So this guy's he's being used in a pretty offensive way in this Vegas Golden Knights team. So he's a pretty good value. And he'll probably be ranked pretty low because overall in the season last year, he wasn't that great because in LA, he wasn't being used offensively at all. So his numbers in LA were not very good. However, he's being used on the second power play in Vegas, and 5 out of his 16 points in both the playoffs and the regular season came on the power play. So he's scoring about 1/3 of his points on the Vegas power play. And I actually expect that to go a little bit higher because Shea Theodore will now be joining his power play. It'll make it significantly better. He's a little bit better than Nate Schmidt, I find, as a power play quarterback. So Martinez's points, even on the power play, should go up a little bit. So expect Martinez to score you, 35, 40 points minimum next season. He'll be a really great late value pick in fantasy drafts. Another thing that Alec Martinez does really well, if you play with block shots in your league, this guy last year was top 25 in block shots, and actually those numbers didn't go down once he was traded to Vegas. He was getting a whole lot of block shots. You might be worried about his plus minus. He was -4 last year. However, he spent most of the season with LA, so that number is a little bit skewed. In the playoffs, he was a +11 with Vegas. So if you're worried about plus minus, don't be, because his plus minus should be a lot better next year. All right, so let's talk about Nate Schmidt and his fantasy outlook for next year. Now, he was previously playing on that Vegas second power play, which was getting a lot of power play time. Now he's transitioning to Vancouver, where he will likely play on the second power play as well, alongside Alex Edler. Now, it seems like a decent place, right? Second power play, second power play. You know, he got 31 points in 59 games last season, and he was playing on the second unit. So, you would expect that to continue. I don't think so, because Vancouver's, they don't really play their second power play like at all. They pretty much keep their first power play unit on all the time. They don't alternate. Their first power play has so much firepower with Pedersen and JT Miller and Quinn Hughes. I don't see any way that second power play starts getting that much more time. So I don't see Schmidt's power play value being as high as it was last year, and I don't see his total points being as high as it was last year. Luckily for him, he doesn't depend too much on the power play to get points, so he shouldn't be too bad of a pick. However, I do think his value does go down a little bit being on Vancouver. His other stats, he had 112 shots on goal last year, which isn't bad. He had 91 blocks, which would have been top 50 had he stayed healthy all year. So if you want someone who can block, get a few points here and there, has a pretty decent amount of shots on goal, Nate Schmidt's not a bad pick. However, if you're looking for hits, Nate Schmidt's not your guy. He doesn't hit a whole lot. So I think Nate Schmidt's fantasy value will be going down a little bit, although I don't think he will be drafted too early. So if he comes up late in your draft, don't hesitate to draft him. He just may not be as effective as he was last year. All right, that's it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you listening all the way to the end of the video. Please drop a like, drop a subscribe, and leave some comments down below. I really appreciate all your comments, guys. I want to know how I can improve my videos and bring the best experience for you guys. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.